Our story begins with our main character waking up and feeling sweaty. He realizes he's wearing a sports shirt for a team called the Red Devils, which was popular during the 2002 Korea-Japan World Cup. He guesses his mom bought a lot of those shirts because they were cheap, but they went out of style later on. Our main character realizes that this memory is from 100 years ago and wonders if it's a dream or real. Suddenly, he hears his father calling him by his name, Jinhyuk, and asks him to come to their bakery. Jinhyuk, our main character, is shocked when he sees his father, who looks amazing. He can't believe it. Jinhyuk looks in the mirror and notices that his hair is short, as if he just finished military service. Then he remembers what day it is and remembers it as the day he regretted the most in the past. The same thing happens again. His father wakes him up, scolds him, and asks him to come to the bakery. But our main character argues with his father, saying that being a little late won't matter. They have a big fight that day. Our main character had just come from the military and thought it wasn't important. However, something happens to his father when he goes to the bakery alone. Jinhyuk's phone rings. He was playing on his computer when he gets a call from the hospital. His father fell and got seriously injured. He tore a ligament in his arm and won't be able to use it for 3 months. The doctor says he will need rehabilitation. Our main character has no choice but to run the bakery by himself. Someone tries his bread and says it tastes different. Jinhyuk feels frustrated because he can't do it like his father. His mother is worried too because they are losing customers and might have to close the store. Another problem arises. A new bakery franchise opens across the street. And then it gets worse. They can't afford to pay the rent anymore. His father says they can only survive by taking loans. He promises to bake again once he's better. It breaks his father's heart, and they not only have to close the store, but they also lose their house to creditors. But even after a year passes, his father's arm doesn't recover. His mother's health also gets worse. Out of concern, our main character takes his mother to the hospital. While they are walking, he assures her that everything will be fine. Then he gets a call. They tell him she has advanced stomach cancer. His father is shocked. A truck is heading towards them, and Jinhyuk pushes his father out of the way, but he gets hit and ends up in a coma, living in the hospital. His parents are devastated. In his mind, he wants to die but can't. It feels like he's trapped in a never-ending nightmare, and his guilt keeps growing every day. And when he finally wakes up, he finds himself in a different world called Giant Humor. In this world, our main character learns martial arts to survive and becomes really good at it. But even with his skills, he can't find a way to go back to his old world. He realizes that centuries have passed since he started training at the Sun Moon Divine Cult. At that time, he was desperate to survive and went through incredibly tough training. Even after becoming a master, he lived a dangerous life, always on the edge between life and death. Then our main character became the leader of a group called the Sun Moon Cult, and they called him the Heavenly Demon. He wasn't as powerful as his transcendent demon, but he was still considered the strongest because he reached the level of an emergent demon. Now, in the modern world as Lin Jinhyuk, he wondered what would have happened if he had been given a chance by something called the Great Providence. The Sun Moon Cult was special because its members had different magical abilities. When he looked in the mirror, our main character saw himself as the Great Heavenly Demon. He was sure that the Great Providence existed, but he didn't need to worry about it right now. What mattered to him was his family. He never forgot about them, not even for a second. In the present world, our main character's mother asked his dad to go easy on him because he had just come back from the army. His father wondered where our main character got his stubbornness from. Jinhyuk overheard his father's frustration with him and wished that his father would understand him. Our main character felt devastated because he only lived with regret and wanted to go back to that day. He held on and fought for his life in Jianhu so that he could return to his parents. Jinhyuk's eyes filled with tears as he looked at his father. He never thought he would be able to see him again. Jinhyuk knew what he would do first. He walked towards the door and with great enthusiasm told his dad that he would go with him. From that moment on, he was determined to make things right. He then said he would just get ready. His father was happy and mentioned that he had grown up after serving in the army. In Jinhyuk's mind, it wasn't just the army, but also the fact that he came back from a place called the Murim world. His father noticed Jinhyuk's shirt and asked him to change his clothes. Our main character knew that what he wore was important. He also noticed that his legs seemed stronger from his time in the military, but for a martial artist in the Murim world, it was still a weak body. He couldn't believe that this was his body now. Jinhyuk asked his dad to wait for a moment as he went to change clothes. His parents were curious about his actions. Then, our main character started searching through his wardrobe and realized that his father was actually much younger back then. He fought and couldn't understand his father because he had aged. Looking back, the squad captain Haowasu, who went berserk, was older than his dad. He was even younger than Jinhyuk in the Murim world. Our main character's age in Jingu was estimated to be over 100, while his dad was only in his 50s. He had gone to Jingu at the age of 24 and lived there for more than 100 years. Now, he wanted to try to understand his dad with an open mind. He opened a drawer and a bunch of random things came flying out. But he quickly caught them with confidence. He was able to balance everything, which was something he couldn't do before. Then he saw something underneath the drawers. He realized that in this time period, there were smooth rails at the bottom of the drawer, so it could open easily. Even the best cabinets in Jingu weren't as smooth as the ones in the present world. But he didn't know how much strength he needed to open them. So, he started going through his clothes because in Jingu, he always wore special ritual clothes as a cult leader. He normally wore a special type of silk clothing. But now that he wasn't a cult leader anymore, he missed wearing simple clothes. Then he saw his cabinet and felt happy when he saw what was inside. However, there were so many choices that he couldn't decide what to wear. For the past 100+ years, someone else had always picked his clothes for him. There was a separate department that took care of everything, even his shoes and headwear. Jinhyuk randomly picked a shirt without thinking much because he wasn't going for anything important or dangerous. But then he realized he was going to a bakery and couldn't wear just any clothes. He looked through his closet, trying to remember what the white clothes were called. He realized he didn't have any white-collared shirts. His father noticed he was taking a long time to change. Jinhyuk then realized he didn't need to worry about dangerous situations like in Jianghu where people wanted to harm him or betray him. He asked his parents where his bakery uniform was, but his father got angry at the question. So, Jinhyuk decided to wear regular clothes, making sure not to ruin his shirt. He quickly changed and left his room. As he walked out, his father noticed he wasn't wearing any socks. When Jinhyuk looked down, he realized he didn't know what socks were. His father tried to understand what was going on and threw a pair of socks at him. In Jinhyuk's mind, it was summer, but the socks his father gave him were thick like winter socks. His father explained that he heard Jinhyuk's feet hurt when he wore cooking shoes. Jinhyuk remembered his father had given him thick socks before. Now he understood that it was a nice day outside. He saw the signs of a convenience store and different cars, but he didn't immediately explore the city he had missed. He was focused on looking at the ground, and his father noticed. His father asked if he was searching for dropped coins. But Jinhyuk was actually looking for a stone that might have caused his father's fall. He wanted to figure out exactly where his father tripped. Then Jinhyuk admitted his special ability and unleashed his heavenly demon energy arts. He didn't even need to open his eyes, he could sense the surroundings with his energy and check the road and sidewalk. In the Miriam world, he could do much more, but in this world, he was limited. And he realized it was too much for him to handle. His dancing ability suddenly felt empty. He thought he was strong, but this was a problem. Jinhyuk had to concentrate as he walked and focused on his breathing to strengthen his abilities in this world. Then he took a big step forward. Jinhyuk sensed what was in front of him, tired people going to work, chewed and spat out gum, and even the growing buds of a dandelion. But he knew these things weren't the cause of his father's fall. He was certain it was a sharp-edged stone, and he was determined to find it. That stone was the enemy and the reason their family was in trouble. He was determined to destroy it. Jinhyuk released more energy, and there it was, the jagged stone. He could destroy it even from a distance, it was a simple trick for him. The stone shattered in front of them. His father asked if Jinhyuk felt the cold breeze that passed through them. In Jinhyuk's mind, he felt something strange when he sensed his father's energy. It was summer, and he realized that most martial artists usually reach a certain level when they're around 40 years old. However, Jinhyuk's father had lived for over 100 years, which might be why he looked so young. This made Jinhyuk make fun of his father for being weird. His father then asked him why he was behaving so obediently that day. Jinhyuk was touched by what his father said, and they soon arrived at the bakery. His father then asked him to raise the shutter. In Jinhyuk's mind, he felt relieved when his father arrived safely. He wondered if his father had managed to change the future. Jinhyuk helped by raising the shutter, and his father was happy about it. However, Jinhyuk accidentally pulled the shutter with too much force, and it opened smoothly at 6 a.m. His father looked around the store, checked the sales from the previous day, and decided what to bake for the day. He preferred to handle the baking process alone to ensure the taste consistency. In Jinhyuk's mind, he didn't think it was helpful when his father got injured. So he started mopping the floors. His father showed impressive skills by breaking an egg and separating the yolk instantly. He was humming and dancing to the rhythm, as if he were a martial arts master. The first bread he made was a bagel. While his father was making bread, one of Jinhyuk's tasks was to preheat and clean the oven. Another task was to take the baked bread out of the oven. Jinhyuk was also responsible for cooling, packing, and displaying the baked goods. While storing the bagels, Jinhyuk noticed that his father's shoulder was tilted to the right, and he was using his left hand as well. Jinhyuk knew that his father was right-handed, so he thought maybe his father was feeling unwell. Jinhyuk expressed his desire to learn how to knead dough, but his father was hesitant because it was challenging to maintain the taste of the bread. Jinhyuk expected this answer and also mentioned that it would betray their customers. This confused his father, who asked if Jinhyuk had said this before. Jinhyuk confirmed and explained that his father was unhappy with his skills back then. His father had been strict with him, but now Jinhyuk understands that he has changed. Jinhyuk then asked his father if he couldn't use his right arm properly. His father mentioned that he might have been tired lately. Jinhyuk pointed out that since he was discharged from the army, his father couldn't expect him to clean up forever. Determined, Jinhyuk asked his father to teach him how to knead the dough. His father was still unsure if it was a good idea, but then he remembered something he had said before, something he didn't like at the time. He had told Jinhyuk to take a break for a month or two after returning from the army, and that break involved helping with cleaning and learning how to knead dough. Back then, Jinhyuk considered cleaning as his break, but now he realizes that it was his father's way of helping him understand how the store works before starting to bake. His father's practice was to start preparing alone from 4 a.m. Jinhyuk then told his father that he now understood that he had been unreliable lately. One reason was that he took a leave of absence from school and delayed his graduation. He was supposed to continue studying, but his father caught him off guard. His father asked him if they should start teaching that day. Jinhyuk couldn't believe it. His father actually liked the way he was acting now. Then he asked Jinhyuk if he wanted to make sabro bread first. In Jinhyuk's mind, if this was a dream, he wished he would never wake up. It had been a month since Jinhyuk came back to the present world. He greeted one of their regular customers. It seemed like he had fully adjusted to this reality. It wasn't the same when he first arrived in Jianggu. He had a weaker body than everyone else, and he had to live in a reality where he couldn't even become a third-rate warrior. It was hard for him to accept that at the time. Suddenly, the kitchen timer went off, bringing him back to the present time and reality. Jinhyuk quickly focused on the ovens. In his mind, this is where he was meant to be, and even though he ruled over Jianggu, he didn't miss that life because he had no one. The only close companion who seemed like a friend was a vision demon. Jinhyuk was grateful to be back, but he saw it as a step down. Then his father tried one of Jinhyuk's loaves and praised his work. Our main character knew it was because he used the same ingredients and followed his father's process exactly. His father couldn't believe that Jinhyuk had mastered their menu in just a month. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe.